Hello, I am Tulip Chaudhary, welcoming you to Hourglass Trails, Episode 2. Hourglass Trails focuses on different aspects of life, beginning from health, food, science, literature, arts, society. In short, anything that gives us food for thoughts or makes us reflect on life in any way. Today, my topic is Not Bread Alone and Giving to Life. Not Bread Alone is the community meal serve in this Amherst, and it is a part of CHD, which is a non-profit organization. And starting with Giving to Life, I have today with me 3 guests from Not Bread Alone. This is Bob Stover, and there is Robert Simons, and there is Mallika Desu. And Hourglass Trails is divided into 2 parts, and Mallika will join us later. And meanwhile, we'll welcome Bob Stover.
So
and
pleased
thank
to
you.
be
I
here.
really appreciate it. So Bob Stover is the program supervisor and volunteer coordinator at Not Bread Alone. And welcome Robert Simons. And thank you so much for making it to this. It's so cold outside.
Yes.
And thank you very much. Robert is one of the most dedicated volunteers that we have in Not Bread Alone. And we often work together in the kitchen. So before we proceed again to know more about how we give, and in that aspect, Not Bread Alone, let me begin a little bit of my own journey on it. So it began around 3 years back. I was there at Not Bread Alone just around this time, Thanksgiving meal. So once there, I was really taken up with the spirit of giving and sharing in that place. There were volunteers, young and old, all were smiling and happy, and total tranquility that captivated me, and I started going there ever since I can. Now, Not Bread Alone is all about giving in life, and we all have different views of life. But I think we will all agree that when it comes to giving to life, we all feel good when we make somebody smile, right? And as Mother Teresa has said, if you cannot feed 100, feed just 1. So what matters is that we all give in our own ways to life, big or small. Is that it? So now I'll start with Bob Stover. Now, Bob, it seems to me whenever I'm at Not Bread Alone, you seem like a huge tree, offering shade and rest to whoever comes here. So can we know something from you about Not Bread Alone, how it began, when it began?
Well, we date the beginning of Not Bread Alone in September of 1983, when a half dozen young women at the First Congregational Church of Amherst decided that they would start a meal, and that every Saturday they would offer people soup and bread to whoever wanted to join them. And it has continued almost continuously since then. In about 1990, the service agency Center for Human Development took over administration. It's commonly called CHD, and so it's a non-religious entity located in the First Congregational Church of Amherst. I think it's fair to say that the First Congregational Church is extremely supportive, extremely generous to the program, and very proud that it's located in their building. The program took off when it was run by a local Amherst woman named Wailing Greeny.
Okay.
And she was helped by many very capable volunteers, including, among many others, Naz Mohammed. And but Wailing left the program in about 2009, and it went through a period that was fairly rocky. And that's when I, as a member of First Congregational Church, decided, well, you know what, I'm going to go down there and volunteer
Okay.
and keep this program as strong as it has been. And then in 2011, after volunteering for 2 years there, I became a member of the staff. And so we're going strong now and offering 3 meals a week, Wednesdays at 4 and Saturday and Sunday at noon.
When I'm there, I see that you have a stream of volunteers. Connie, the kitchen leader, also is there. But how do you get all the volunteers? What is the way that you get so many people from all walks of life to be there at Not Bread Alone?
Well, I could say that I'm in a constant state of desperation, trying to make sure there's volunteers there all the time. But by the way, Connie is my partner in this endeavor. She's also a staff member, and she's a wonderfully intelligent and efficient woman with decades of cooking experience, cooking for large groups of people. So I'm very fortunate that she's part of the program, certainly. And we have been blessed with many volunteers. I am in constant email contact with probably 100 people in hopes of putting together a good team for every single one of our meals. So
suppose you have, so basically it's the emails that you do for all the volunteers.
Yes.
So how can people come in, the new ones? How can they reach out?
Yes, they can go, well, first of all, the most direct way to do it would be to send me an email at rstover at chd.org. Or you can go to the chd.org website and go to the Not Bread Alone page, and that will have some contact information.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's wonderful to know.
Yes.
Now let's go to Robert.
Yes.
Now, Robert, it's just wonderful to, when I go there and see familiar faces, it's like a big family. It's like we are all together again and we are going to do something together again. So how did you begin coming to Not Bread Alone, and when was it? Can we know?
It was a little over 2 years ago. Happened to be blessed with some time on my hands and was looking for ways to keep busy. And my girlfriend, Carolyn, said, well, you should go check out the Not Bread Alone. Her mother volunteered at a congregational church kitchen up in North Adams and said that her mother had a really good experience with it, so we should give it a try. And once we got there the first time, I was hooked. You know, it was such a good experience, such wonderful people, very encouraging and appreciative, and the food is just fantastic. And you meet people from all over the country, all over the world, different backgrounds.
That's very nice experience, isn't it? Once I was there, although we say love at first sight is romantic, it's not that. I mean, there are different aspects of love at first sight. So you are there, and I was there on the first day, and I knew that I will be coming because of all the loving atmosphere there and acceptance. I was totally raw. I mean, I just came new to Amherst then, and never been to a commercial big kitchen before, never seen 8 burners working together. But whatever, at even my height, I got an additional stool to stand on and cook, so nobody minded, and that was like, oh, okay. So everybody accepts me as I am, and I had the liberty to cook. That's what I really enjoyed. I had opportunity to create. Isn't that so, Robert? So I was wondering, it's all about teamwork, right?
Yes.
And I often see that you have soup going on or something like that. Is that something you do specially, or when you come to cook, what would be the normal thing? Would you create your own dish, or would you coordinate with the kitchen leader of the day?
It's usually coordinating with the kitchen leader of the day.
Okay.
There have been times in the past where Bob asked me, well, is there a special dish that you'd like to do? And I've done a few of those, but it's usually just working on whatever recipe that we have set up for that day. And
yes. And it's, you know, that not bread alone, what I feel whenever I'm there, even if you are not, if you just had a meal, we just feel hungry all the time again, because it's all the fresh things that going on, the wonderful, we have so many varieties. Like I'll go back to Bob again. So what are the basic things that you have to have for the each meal? Like you have a starter, then you have an entree or something. What are the basic menu that you set? I mean, is there a criteria for that, that you have to have some things?
Yes, well, first of all, we want to provide the food that the people who join us for our meals want to eat. That's the most important thing.
Okay.
And so in general, the structure of our menu, as I see it, is green salad, bread and butter, vegetable soup of some kind, a main course that might be involve meat or cheese or eggs or combination of those things. And then I always hope to have a vegan main course option for people. And we do get, most of the feedback I get from the people who dine with us is that we wish you could have more meat.
Okay.
But meat is expensive, so one person described what we serve as the essence of meat.
Okay.
But we do, or we can get food from the food bank at free or very reasonable cost, and we get most of our meat from them, so we do pretty well in that department too.
Okay.
We've got some people who come and eat with us who have health issues or just want to be vegetarians or want to be vegans, and they keep us improving the vegetarian vegan side of our menu.
Yes, that's wonderful to know. But I also see that you usually have something sweet. I mean, what you call is dessert. I never get that part right, you know, English being my second language. When I said dessert, it sounds like sandy thing. And when I want to meet the apple pie, it sounds like the other thing. So what's the dessert, right?
Yes.
Dessert. Now I got it right now.
Dessert,
Dessert.
yeah.
Dessert. You have
Yeah.
got some dessert also. Somebody is busy making something in the oven. Coming up with something sweet. So I keep it the easier way, you know, sweet dish.
Well, one of the, probably the biggest reason for that, I mean, there is the fact that many of our diners do like to finish their meal with something sweet.
Yes, definitely.
But also, we get some very capable volunteers, especially from some of the local colleges and the university, and they get such a thrill out of baking something, and they really enjoy that. They find it engrossing, and so I like to include that among the things that we make from scratch at Not Bread Alone.
Exactly.
And we make some pretty classy dishes, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yes. And I remember I learned lots of things from Connie too. I'm really lucky when Connie is there and I'm working. So there was a dish, someday she made glazed tortillas. And I have been making it for wherever I go, and everybody loves it.
Yeah,
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes. Coming back to you, Robert, there are some rules when you enter the kitchen of Not Bread Alone, right?
Yes,
Yes.
the first thing we do is put our coats and belongings in the back of the kitchen and then wash our hands thoroughly at the
Exactly,
sink.
wash your hands, yeah.
And if you happen to be working on a dish that won't be cooked, say a salad or a juice, you have to wear gloves, latex gloves on your hands. Other than that, it's kind of basic rules of society in terms of getting along with one another. I've never seen any kind of argument between volunteers. We're all very respectful and just want to pitch in, like you said, teamwork. You know, wherever they
Exactly.
need me. You know, if you need me to prepare food, I'll do that. You need me to do some dishes, I'll do that. You know, so I just kind of like to fill in gaps wherever there's a need.
So
And-
besides cooking, do you sometimes serve too, or are there some, do you know, but we have any rules for serving?
Yes, I normally don't serve. There usually are plenty of servers, but this past weekend we were so low on help that I had to go out And again, you're going to have to wash your hands and put gloves on if you're serving, and to make sure you don't touch any of the utensils from one plate to a next.
Yes.
And just be kind and respectful to the people that you're serving. And boy, do you get that back from them. They're so appreciative.
Exactly.
And very happy to be there sharing a delicious, nutritious meal. And you know, if there's extra food and people want another serving, we can bring that back out to them.
Exactly. I have seen volunteers who are serving sometimes just come in very busy, like, oh, there's one person, she has just come, and we are all busy trying to serve that person. So this is remarkable, really, as you say. There is always acceptance in each and every corner of the dining room and the kitchen and everywhere. But I sometimes see you, running around with herbs, and you seems there must be a rich supply of herbs while before the snow sets, and there must be lots of work to be done to keep herbs or any kind of garden alive. Who works behind the scene on that?
My girlfriend Carolyn is caretaker of the garden. She's very, very skilled and takes great pride in providing us with herbs and vegetables and fruits from our modest garden.
Okay.
And it's still producing some kale and herbs right now.
Yes.
And she enjoys bringing stuff in, and we just asked Bob or Connie, well, could you use some of this in today's recipe? And people put their input in. I need some of that. Okay, some thyme or some. And so the garden's going to rest now for the winter.
Yeah.
But she planted a bunch of garlic, which we'll be harvesting next summer. So.
Wow. So there are so many behind the scenes going on to bring the meal to the table, right?
Yes.
So I'll go to Bob again. When I am at Not Bread Alone, sometimes I see other people, apart from the kitchen and the dining space. Some people are unloading goods, and some bringing produces. So there is a lot more behind the kitchen and the dining room. Can you tell me about those people who are bringing the outside stuff to you? I mean, who are these people? And we'd like to really know something about them.
Well, I'm so glad you raised that question, because I would love to point out that we have different teams of volunteers. We have people who come every Sunday and take a huge hamper of laundry home with them, and they wash the laundry, and they bring it back on Monday or Tuesday so that we have it again on Wednesday and Saturday and Sunday. And there's different teams of volunteers who rotate on a weekly basis on that. We have a couple of volunteers who every week come in, and we're very good about dividing our waste so that we recycle whatever we can. We compost whatever we can. And there's a couple of men at this time who come and take all the cardboard and all the metal and all the plastic and take it to the Amherst Recycling Center.
Okay.
And we have the people who on one Saturday of the month come and go to Whole Foods supermarket behind the store, and they load up their vehicles with all the things that Whole Foods feels it cannot sell. And so they're perfectly good things. They might be an oversupply, or they might be produce approaching old age, but not there yet. And so these volunteers then will bring it every Saturday, back, and we set that up, and we choose some of it to include in our meals, and we give the rest away after the meal to the people who came and shared the meal with us.
Exactly. It's just like now with the description, I'm feeling a little bit like ants. Have you ever observed ants working together? They do everything so together. So I think in our way, we work a little bit like the ants.
Yes.
Big teamwork.
And I should, it's been a while since we've had a meeting, but we also have people who serve on our guiding committee, which we call the Kitchen Cabinet.
Oh.
And Bob has been a long-term member of that, as well as so many other things he does.
Okay, so maybe you can go to Bob then again a little bit. Now, Bob, as far as I know, beside your long history with food, you have been with food in many ways of life. You have also been with the Peace Corps in Costa Rica for in the late 80s. We'd like to hear something about that if you'd like to share.
Yes, thank you. I was very fortunate to be able to serve a couple of years in Costa Rica, which is a lovely country with some very nice people. I worked with farmers who were growing specific crops that were for export, and I found some other things that I could do along the way. I learned how to build wood-burning stoves for cooking and helped with the construction of a couple of those. And I feel that I got so much back from my experience there. I felt that I learned that much more than I was able to teach the people down there. And they are a very peaceful people. I learned so much about their history, and of course learning how to speak Spanish, that has helped me. Sometimes working at Not Bread Alone, we have people from Spanish-speaking countries.
Wow, that's great. So whatever we do, I mean, each and every experience actually counts, right? So actually, I have tasted your soup too, and I really like it, and that's why I'm making it all soup for you today.
All right.
I'm sure you've done. There are other things too that you make. When you are, suppose on a day you are supposed to come to volunteer and you cannot make it, is there? How do you get in touch with the Not Bread Alone kitchen?
I have
or something?
I have Bob's telephone number, and so I contact him. There's only, once or twice when I was sick and didn't want to spread my germs around, so I called him and gave him notice. There'll be other times I'll be, visiting family around the holidays or traveling with my brother, and I give him as much advance notice as possible.
Between the volunteers, the kitchen leader, and Bob Stover, the volunteer coordinator, I mean, there's an immense network to be kept up with, making sure who are coming, who cannot make it because you are planning a meal, and if that person drops out, then you have to fill in something else, right? So this is an immense network, not only volunteers, the food supply and the food and the guests who are come, making everyone happy with the meals. So there's a lot beside the wonderful food that goes to the table of Not Bread Alone. Keeps everyone happy, those who are making it and those who are appreciating it, and we all love to share meal at Not Bread Alone too with everybody. We'll be off for a while, taking a short break, and thank you, Bob. We'll be waiting with you. And Robert, thank you very much for joining us today. And we'll have another volunteer here, Mallika Desu, to speak. She is from India, so we'll hear a little bit about Indian spices and Indian dishes from her. So thank you again.
Thank you. I would like to present you with a jar of homemade pickles.
Wow.
Which these ones are mild, but they're
Thank
very well
you.
seasoned. And
wow, this is
if you come to volunteer at Not Bread Alone, you will get it to sample.
Wow, so fresh.
Carrots and
Thank you.
radishes.
Next time I'll make sure that at Not Bread Alone I'll have it. But as soon as I'm out of camera, don't wait. I'll just wait it and taste it.
Okay.
Thank you, Robert. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
joining and making my day.
Enjoy.